Hello, how to complete Form 1120S for 2021 if you do not have income or revenue for the year. So first, you will pull Form 1120S and you can go to IRS website, irs.gov, and in the search bar you tap Form 1120S. Form 1120S, and you click on the search icon and you will pull it. So you will download the form, you'll download the instructions, and you'll go back and do the same and search Schedule K-1 for Form 1120S, and you'll pull that as well, and it will be, and we will have those on our blog ninasoap.com under free download, where you can find the link to the form. So Schedule K-1 Form 1120S, and you'll download the form and you'll download the instructions and save them, because it's good to read through them, and if there is a line you do not understand, it's good to locate that line and then read it to see how that applies to you, or if that applies to you or not. So but then you come to your form. So assuming that's your first year of filing it, you'll put on line A as election effective date. So that's the date you let it to be treated as an S Corp, and on line E will be the date you incorporate it as an LLC with your state. Then you'll have your business name, your business address, city, state, and zip code. You'll put your employer identification number on line D and business activity code. If you have not used one yet, then you'll look for it, but if you have used it before, you'll use what you used before. And if your business activity change, it is okay to use the one you have used before. But if that's your first year and you have not used that business activity code yet, you didn't use it to apply for EIN number, then you look for it in the instructions to Form 1120S, and it's going to be at the end of the instructions. And I have videos on business activity. So pretty much at the end of the instructions to Form 1120S, there is a table what they talk about principal business activity code. There is an idea behind it. Usually it's the activity that is generating more revenue for you that you use. But if you have used a number already, you want to stick to it. So if you are a online business and you sell to users of your products directly, you are a retailer. So you'll go to retail trade section, and then you look for non-store retailer, because retail trade has stores in the subcategories. You wanted to find the one that will be non-store, and usually is at the end of the retail trade. So you'll choose any number from that category that will be related to your business model, or you can choose from any other area. So in our instance, we started as a tax preparation consulting business, and then we move our handmade products to that business, under that business, and it became retail and service. But because we chose tax preparation number for it at the beginning, we kept it. So I'm trying to look for that number, but I'm not going to spend time on it. But yeah, so look for the number that is related to your business model and add it to, let's go back. So pretty much the number you are adding is the number that will be, well describing your business model. And sometimes it might be good to go on the general side if under the category that you fit in, so that if you add other product to your store, it does not, yeah, you can still fit within the business code. But yeah, so you have the business code, and line G is just asking if you are electing to be treated as an S Corp, and if that's your final return, or you are changing name or address, or you are amending, or you are terminating your S election, you will check. Otherwise, you leave them blank. So enter the number of shareholders. So the number of shareholders you have in the business, you will enter. If that's just you, that's 1. If that's 2 people, that's 2. In this example, that's 5. Check if the corporation is going to aggregate activities or group activities, and there are instructions related to that. So you just look for a J. Let me show it to you. So it's good when you are completing the form to save the instructions, and just go look for a row you have question about. Let's see what page they have it. And J, we pass it. So aggregation or grouping, so they have information on it, and they talk about it on page 10 of the instructions, and they have examples as well. So pretty much when you have more than one business and you are trying to combine them, you have more than one activities under the business. So the way you handle them is what it's about. So you read about it if you want to aggregate or not. Sorry, excuse me. So we didn't check any of those boxes. So if you didn't have any income, then you won't have, your gross receipt for line 1A will be 0. You won't have any refund. So anything that is 0, you just leave it blank. And cost of goods sold, probably you didn't sell any good, it will be blank as well. Your gross profit will be blank, and if you don't have any other income, it will be blank. Okay, so without income, you won't have any things on the first area. But still, if you purchase goods for your business, you have inventory, might still be important to complete your Form 1120A. And pretty much Form 1128 will have, if that's your first year, your line 1 will be blank because you won't have any good at the beginning of the year. It will be blank, and then you'll have your purchases, and then you won't have, and your purchases will equal inventory at the end of the year, which is on line 7, and you won't have anything for cost of goods sold. Okay, so deductions. So if, let's just say you took $300 out, out of the business, or maybe you didn't take anything, so that will be out of there as well. Taxes and licenses, we have, if you have form you file with, usually the first year you'll have startup and organizational costs, and those will go on line 19, other deductions. So you have the choice to deduct it all the first year up to a certain dollar amount, and when you go past that amount, you will have to amortize the rest over, I believe, 180 month is in the instructions to Form 4562. For the number of months you'll amortize your startup costs. And then interest, if you have interest, it will be on line 13. If you purchase assets for your business, it'll go on line 14, but you have to attach Form 4562, and I'll go through that form in another video, but let's pull one out here. This is the summary one, and you'll just add the business name, the business identification number. We didn't claim section 179, so we left it blank. But usually you'll have, if you have more than one activity in the business, you can separate them, like retail, service. If the asset is related to an activity in the business, then you put it there. But this is the summary, because we have multiple assets. If you have multiple assets, you don't want to group them, then you can complete different form for each one of them, and then you have one form that is the summary. And if that's your first year, you won't have anything on line 17, like prior year assets, depreciation deduction. You leave it blank. But then on line 18, if you are not going to group, you leave it alone. But on line 19, you will complete that for each form. If you have asset that will fall under 5-year property, then you only have one row for 5-year property. So it'll be good to use multiple forms, each for one asset. An example will be, let me see here. We'll go under our document, depreciation. And an example will be, let's just take the that, for instance, because we have 5 and 7 years, they can fit on one sheet, but every 5 one will have a different sheet, because you only have one row for it, and you do not want to group them. If you want to group assets, you can group them, but you can only group all the 5 that you will use the same convention and use the same depreciation method for. So you can, because we have all our 5 the same, we can group all our 5 and we can group all our 7, and they can actually fit on one sheet like that. But when you group assets, you better use them the business and for the full term that the depreciation cover, so that you don't have to add income related to an asset that you depreciated in the group that you are not using anymore. You don't have to add it back as an income on another form. So if we take that one, for example, that we highlighted, the depreciation basis is 40. The recovery period is 5 year, and the convention is half year. So the recovery period is GDS 5, and the convention is half year, and the method is straight line. So we'll talk about the depreciation in another video, but that's pretty much, and we will have the deduction for the first year is 4 is 4, and for the 7-year property we just do the same for the 7-year property, and that's the property below it. We'll do the same thing. It will be 7. The depreciation is 234, so we can just go from the, let's do it in an order. So that will be 3271, that will be 33, and our GDS 7, we have half year, and we are using straight line depreciation method. And that would be excuse me, so we can only fit 2 on the form. Then we will save it, pull the form again, take those things out, and put 5, a property with 5-year property class on it, and save it, pull another form again, and do it, and then do that for every single one of them. So you might end up like 15 in this example, 15 sheets of form 562, and one of them will be the summary. So this one is the summary. Okay, I'm just going to take so the summary, we won't have anything on line 19. And for your first year, you won't have anything on line 17. But if it's not your first year, then you have assets you purchased for the business that are depreciable, and you have been depreciating them, then you'll have 2021 depreciation deduction for them as well. So it'll go on line 17, and the total depreciation including line 19 in our scenario is 334, and we have excuse me, but it's based on we track it, so 236 for the 2021 and 98 for the prior year. So it's good if you are just starting out to have a good system to track your numbers if you are not using a software, so that it's easy for you to find your numbers. And by adding those assets one by one, the rounding will affect the bottom line. So that's why we have 334 instead of 335 like on our spreadsheet. But then we have amortization. So this form will have a listed property section as well for things you use for business and personal. And then you have amortization section. So for software purchase, we put it under amortization. It's because it's intangible, but software is can be amortized or depreciated. I would say amortized for 36 months. So you are going by month. Therefore, you need to know when you put it in service to count the number of months you use it during that year. So I have a spreadsheet that helps calculate that, come up with the rates. The first year rate is 1 month out of 36, and the second year rate is 12 months out of 36. So that means the last year will be 11 months out of 36. So if you do it well, all the years combined will give you 100%. And then the cost of the item times the rate will give you what you'll deduct every year, and the total, the amortization, not depreciation, it will be more amortization amount, will match what you pay for the item. Yeah, I have it here too, but it's amortization. Okay, so that's how we come with that number there, and that's the summary. So you'll have a many form 4562, and you will just remember to have the activity on top, like retail or service, for instance, or it can be more detailed than that, and then have one that will be the summary. If you are claiming form section 179 to cost out all the cost of the assets you place in service in 2021, then you want to read more about section 179 in the instructions to form 1120S to understand it. I do not claim it, and at the beginning, if you don't have any income in your business, it may not be useful to claim it either. And 179 will flow to Schedule K and to Partners K-1. So, okay, so now that we completed the depreciation sheet, the amount will go on line 14 of Form 1120S. And we have other deductions, and those will go on line 19, but you have to attach it because the form does not come with a lot of detailed expenses. Some of your expenses might fit under other deductions, including organizational costs and startup costs. So if you do not have a software to track your expenses, you can track, you can have a spreadsheet to track them, and you just use it to complete your form. So, and those are the different type of expenses that you can enlist under other deductions if that's where they fit. But yeah, and that will total to the number we have there, but the spreadsheet has other lines involved as well. Okay, total deduction will be pretty much all the expenses here. That's 3870, and should match the spreadsheet record as well. Will be 3070.47, which is 38. A total to 3870.47, which is rounded to 3070. So your original business income or loss will be negative 3870 when you do not have income. So if the other one is, if a row is not rolled, so you just leave it blank, you'll put your title. You can put no for IRS not to contact anyone else but you, and then you go through Schedule B. So you'll choose accrual or cash, and usually LLC is accrual, but for small business you have the choice between the two. So whatever you chose, you stick to it. To change it, you have to file a form to apply and get IRS approval. And what your business is about, you will put that online too, and then you read the questions. If that's no, you check no. and most of them might be no for you in the early stage of your business. But line 11, does the corporation satisfy both of the following? Total receipts is less than 250,000 and total assets is less than 250,000. The answer is yes. Therefore, you are now required to complete Schedule L, which is balance sheet, or Schedule M1. Okay, so and then you continue and finish up with Schedule B, and you go to Schedule K1. So if you do not have income, then you'll have a loss if you have expenses. So that'll be 3870. And line 2, 3 all the way to 10, if you do not have any other type of income, you leave them blank. Deduction section of Schedule K might remain blank. The credit international transaction, any rows that does not relate to you, you leave them blank. So line 18, reconciliation, income loss reconciliation will be the total of all your income on Schedule K minus the deductions on Schedule K. Now, some deductions, 18, 12D, and 16F. So since we didn't have anything on those sections, we'll have our negative number here as well. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do if that's a business without and without revenue, and you will probably not complete Schedule M2 either. So we will take information out of there. And you'll be done with Form 1120S. And let's save it. No income. So now that we are done with Schedule with Form 1120S, how do you complete Schedule K1? So to complete Schedule K1, you will use information from your Schedule K. And here we only have one number on the Schedule K. Therefore, our Schedule K1 will have one number as well. So how do you complete your Schedule K1? So you can go to IRS website and just search Schedule K1 Form 1120S. Save it with the instructions after you download them. And on part 1, you add your business identification number. Part B, line B, you add your business name, your business address, city, state, and zip code. And line C is where you are going to send your return, and you'll find it on the instructions to Form 1120S at the beginning. And let's see if you'll be able to find it very quickly here. And when you are reading through it, it's good to locate it and copy the address you are going to send your return to an envelope. So pretty much locate your state and see if your total assets is more than 10 million or less than that, but you are going to file M3 or any amount. So whatever is related to your state, that's the address. So in this example for Iowa is any amount for assets, and the address is Ogden, Utah 84201. So we will put Ogden, Utah 84201. I believe it's 0013. So where you will mail your tax return, that's that center you want to add to line C of form of Schedule K1 of Form 1120S. A new area that is added is line D, corporation total number of shares. So if you have share numbers for your business, you might want to add it beginning and end. And if that's a new business, chances are the beginning will be 0, the beginning of the year will be 0, and the end of year, since you started your business that year, you'll have, you know, the number of share. So, and then you enter the partner social security number, the partner's name, address, city, state, zip code. You know, you just press enter and go and do that. And then J, current year allocation percentage. That's pretty much the ownership the partner has in the business. So 44% in this example. And line H, shareholders, number of share, beginning and end. If that's a new business, things at the beginning will be 0 and the end year will be 44%. So it will be something like that. And so, and that's that. Part 2 is done. And then on part 3, line 1, ordinary business income or loss, that will be Schedule K times the ownership percentage, which is 44%. So we will pull so 3870 times 0.44 is giving you 1702 or 1703. So that will be 1703 with negative number because you have a loss. So that's how you complete your Schedule K1. So you'll complete it for every single partner that has an ownership in the business, and the total of all the Schedule K1 should match your Schedule K. If that's just you, the only person in the business, then you'll have 100% and 100% ownership, and then your Schedule K1 will match your Schedule K. You'll have negative 3870. And if that's 2 people, then that negative 3870 you'll divide it by 2. One person will have that half and the other will have the other half as well. So let's put that negative 1703, I believe. Yeah. Okay. And you are done with Schedule K1. That's the only information we have on the other form, and we are adding it to Schedule K1. So you will add your Schedule K1 to your Form 1120S when you send it to IRS, and you will mail everything via USPS certified mail so that you have a tracking number. And file, when you print your Form 1120S, you sign it, you make a copy that you can put on the side that you might use for your state, and then you make another copy that you file for your business. So you add a receipt to the one you are saving for your business. So you will send a Schedule K1 to the partner so that they can file their Form 1040 as well. Okay, so now you'll notice that on our okay, so we are having an issue with our computer. It might take us a while to restart it, but while we are there, we might just continue talking. So when you put a data on line 19, other deductions on your Form 1120S, you'll need to attach a document to your Form 1120S. I like to make that document in a spreadsheet so that I can take advantage of the formula on my, on spreadsheet. on my spreadsheet to quickly calculate my totals as I enter information. So you'll have a spreadsheet that will be an attachment to Schedule K. But then you can create different tabs for K1 for each partner, and you can link both through formulas by by clicking on Schedule K number times an ownership percentage on the Schedule K1 tab, and then you will just, when you update your Schedule K1, it will automatically update your, when you update your Schedule K attachment, it will automatically update your Schedule K1 for each partners as well. And you will print that out. So if you have different business activities under schedule, under your business, your LLC Taxed as an S Corp, then your Schedule K attachment should specify, which activity is generating a profit. Like you should pretty much show the proportion of the profit that is allocated to each activity, pretty much. So let's pull, I like to call it Schedule A, but let's see if we'll be able to restore our form since we didn't save some of our changes. Okay, so it's not doing it for us. Okay, we have our Form 1120S. Oh, okay. I'm having, well, okay, let's now save it. Okay, so, and let's open our okay, so my probably that I can close this out of the way. Okay. Okay. So your attachment to Schedule K, first, if you have just one activity under your business, the top portion is not necessary. But if you put any number under line 19, on line 19 under deduction, then you need to attach a document to specify what that deduction is about. So that's pretty much what we try to track in here by pulling it from our bookkeeping spreadsheet. And You know, you track your expenses by month. Let me see here. You track your expenses on a regular basis, like by activities, and then you can summarize it by month, and you can summarize it. Pretty much you can, when you are using spreadsheet, you can pretty much draw some data based on what your need is, you know. So expenses, so you want to, if you are tracking your different type of expenses under line 19, you pretty much wanted to see how you can group them, you know, on the document you wanted to send to IRS. So for instance, you have platform fee. Instead of having every single one of them listed, you can just group, you know, you can group them into, for instance, and pretty much the total of those, if you go back, it's not what it should be. Okay, so we have marketplace platform fee, payment gateway fees, you know, website fees, PO box, package supply use, office supply use, and a section for reimbursement and employee expenses. So few for example, mileage, business mileage, if you have a home office, you use it just for the business, then you can claim business mileage. So the way you will claim it, one way you will claim it will just be to reimburse yourself for the mileage. So you can set a fee for the business mileage and just claim that as a reimbursed expense so that it can go on page 1 of Form 1120S. And then amortization is a part of line 19 as well. And you will add it and it will give the total number there. But because we have more than one activity under the business, we try to show the breakdown of page 1 line 21 revenue or loss by activity. So if you do not have income and you have more than one activity, then you won't have revenue. Pretty much your revenue will be 0. Excuse me. And that will show how the losses break down between the two. And automatically it should show on the schedule K-1 of your partner. We are working on schedule K attachment. Automatically, I just made that change there. So automatically it reflected on schedule K1 of a partner. That is 44%, and that 1703 might be what we have here. And you can see it, negative 1703. So this attachment will be given to the partner so that if when they are filing their 1040, they will have the choice on the associated form where the number will go. They will be able to choose if they materially participated in the business or not. So if they participated, then the loss will be claimed against their wages from their regular job. But if they didn't participate, then it will be carried over to the next year to be applied to a profit from this business when it happens. So and if they are active in one area but not the other, then they can claim one area loss against the W2 and the other will be carried over. So that's pretty much the reason why you want to show to the partners how the breakdown of your profit, the business profit or loss is by business activity, so that they know how to file their 1040 with it. So you can attach, so you'll give the schedule K1 attachment with schedule K1 to the partners, and you will keep one for the business record, and then you'll attach schedule K attachments to Form 1120S as well as Schedule K-1s. So that's how you will file your Form 1120S for 2021 for your LLC tax as an S Corp. You will file Schedule K, that is a part of Form 1120S, and then you will complete an attachment to your Form 1120S. I tend to call it Schedule K, but it's an attachment to line 19. Really, that's really what that was, but it has more than that to it. So we elect now to claim special depreciation, so we mention it on that attachment as well, and we have breakdown of our income and loss as well. So it's more than just Schedule K attachment, so you can call it anything that works for you, but I just like to name it like that. And then you will have your Schedule K-1 completed for each partners, and make sure the totals of all of them match your Schedule K on your Form 1120S, and you've put all your documents together in an order that IRS specify in the instructions to Form 1120S. So we'll now pull that, but when you go to the instructions, there at the beginning they will mention how you'll organize your form, and then you add the depreciation 4562 forms as well, and you mail it to the IRS to the address you located in their instructions. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all that watch our videos. We thank you so much for all your comments, and thank you very much all that subscribe to our channel. I'm Afiavi Ojune Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting LLC YouTube channel, ninasoap.com, our blog. We do have a free download session where you can find free templates there. You don't need to subscribe to access them, and we periodically add links to forms there as well for easy retrieval, or you can go to irs.gov to find them. And we have liberlabel.com for custom apparels and stationery. We have liberdownload.com for financial templates and business template. They are digital. It is a digital store for digital downloads, and where you can find templates to manage your money and your business. And we do have our natural product store, ninasoap.com with 2 S in it. Thank you so much for your time. And remember to file your Form 1120S on time. Is due by March 15. And don't forget to give Schedule K-1 to your partner so that they can file their 1040 with it. Thank you.